Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and this is the Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to talk to you about one product that I'm using on my own lawn. I don't really offer it to that many customers, but I'm considering doing it possibly in the future. But this product is one thing that you can see that will give you great results on your lawn and really help improve the turf quality and also save you some work. So I'm going to tell you what the product is, show it to you, and then we're going to actually demonstrate it and show you how it works on the lawn. Let's get started. One of the good things about turf grass is different varieties out there, but some of them are very adaptable. You can keep them low, you can keep them longer, and you may have to adjust that depending on how often you're mowing the lawn and that sort of thing. But for me, you know, I prefer to keep the grass short if possible. Now that you have to sometimes mow it more frequently to do so. You don't want to let it get tall and then mow it back short. That's not always a good idea, or hardly ever a good idea actually. But one thing, when you see like a golf course and they've got that lawn really short and tight on the fairway, one of the things that they're doing oftentimes is using a growth regulator that helps them do that. Now obviously they cut the grass a lot and that helps too, but if you like that real short, tight lawn, then one thing you can use is a product that I'm going to show you now. It's called Podium. So let's check out the front of the label. It says Podium for Turf Growth Management, and it says for managing growth, improving quality and stress tolerance, and edging of warm and cool season grasses. Shows the active ingredient. So basically what this does, this is a growth regulator. So it doesn't make the grass sick. That's not what we're trying to do. There's other, strategies on how to not mow the lawn by just making it sick, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to actually make the grass thicker and more dense. And so what Podium does and what growth regulators do, basically they take the energy that the grass is using to grow up, more vertical, taller leaves, and they redirect it to where it grows more laterally and also gives that energy to the roots. Now this is my understanding. I'm going to explain this best way I understand it. So basically deeper roots and growing more laterally, meaning that you're going to get that dense turf look without having to mow it as frequently. So practically speaking, when I spray this on my lawn, I can probably go 3 weeks without mowing the grass and it look about the same as it normally would after a week. I would say probably, I'm saying that even cautiously, because I think it's probably even more than that, but definitely I can get 3 weeks out of this. And so in this video I'm going to actually spray part of lawn on some centipede grass. It works on all kind of grasses, and the label, now there's different rates depending on what kind of grass type you have. So let's check out the label here. All right, so here's some rates depending on, and it gives you ounces per 1,000 square feet. So if you were just mixing that in a backpack sprayer, 1,000 square feet is roughly a gallon. Now it can be different depending on how you're spraying, but typically we equate that 1,000 square feet to 1 gallon of water. So you can see here for bent grass, 0.75 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Tall fescue, 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. 1 ounce for ryegrass. And you come down to the warm season grasses. So common Bermuda, 0.75 ounces per 1,000. And also has it in ounces per acre, which is how I'm measuring it, because I'm going to be spraying out of this big tank. Oh, for centipede, which is what I'm doing, it shows 1/2 ounce per 1,000 square feet, or 22 ounces per acre. Now think practically how you could use this. I'll tell you what I did, how I used it today. There's a group of volunteers that takes care of one particular lawn for a person that's unable to manage it themselves. And I thought, you know what, one thing I can do so that we don't have to mow it as often is I could spray it with Podium, and then it wouldn't require mowing nearly as often. And so that's what I did. I went over there and sprayed it. And you can imagine if you were mowing a cemetery, let's say, all that trimming. And that's what, sometimes you can use this just around where you would need to do some trimming. So to keep, sometimes people go and just spray weed killer around the edges. Well, you can spray this and it won't kill it. It'll just keep it from growing. You won't save you a lot of time. As you can imagine, if you had all those headstones to trim around, They also make growth regulators for hedges. Think about certain hedges that need trimmed very often. I'm thinking of holly bushes, elaeagnus bushes, things like that. It's going to really reduce the amount of labor. So from a business standpoint, it can save you a lot of time. But like I said, I'm just thinking from a personal standpoint, if I want my yard nice and tight and low, which I do, then what you can do is start applying this once the grass starts actively growing. So I'm just thinking my situation, probably around May, and apply it once a month, you know, so May, June, July, August, September, and then after that the grass is going to start slowing down. So and yeah, it's not a cheap product. Sometimes people flip out when they see what it costs. I think I paid $200 some for this, but it goes a long way. Like I said, even centipede grass, if it's 22 ounces per acre, and this gallon, you know, is 128 ounces, so I mean it's going to cover several acres. So if you have a small medium-sized lawn, I mean, you're looking at just really a few dollars to spray a lawn. It's not that big of an expense. Now you gotta, you know, buy it up front. You can't, I don't know that it necessarily comes in smaller quantities. But anyway, what we're gonna do, we're gonna spray the section of centipede grass, and then we're going to show you how it works. It does say on the label it works better when the turf is healthy and actively growing. You know, if you've got some drought stressed life support turf, it's going to struggle. But this can also help reduce the amount of water that your turf needs, so it can make it more drought resistant. And I've heard that even if you've got areas that are sort of struggling, thinner grass, it can help it fill in. Like I said, you know, it's going to grow more laterally, and it's going to grow deeper roots. So I use this on my own lawn, been very impressed with it. I thought I'd show it to you, and it's something if you really like that yard nice and low and tight and don't want to have to mow it every other day, this is something to consider. I can put a link in the description so you can go check it out. Like I said, this is not, Podium's not the only growth regulator out there, but it's the one that I've been using. All right, here's going to be our test plot for today. We've got centipede grass, and actually looking pretty good and has been freshly mowed. And what we're going to do, we're going to spray part of it and not spray part of it, and then we'll give it some time and see the results after using Podium on this turf. Now, I don't think after a couple of weeks you're going to see just some super dense difference between what's been sprayed and what hadn't been sprayed, or that one part's going to be, you know, much darker in color. But I think we'll definitely be able to show that it's not going to need cut as often. And if you know when you're mowing grass, if you don't have to cut as often, you keep it nice and low and tight, and over time it becomes more dense and can improve some other features about the grass. So all right, we're going to crank up the sprayer, and we're going to spray this section over here and leave the other part unsprayed, and we'll check back on the results. Let's get started. We got it sprayed. Now there's some things about it that makes it work better, and others said it does better when the grass is not drought stressed, or grass that's actively growing is gonna function better using a growth regulator like Podium. So anyway, I think this grass qualifies, meets those standards for growing actively. I've been mowing this grass probably every 5 to 6 days. Now I do have some people that say, you know, when I come show this video and one side doesn't need mowed, the other side does. I got people that just think I just tell lies on here all the time, so they'll say that I have mowed that before the video. So I can't help those people. I'm not gonna mow it. I wanna show, after a week or two, show the difference, and then we'll wrap up the video. can't wait to see the results. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks since the initial Podium application. I wanted to show you the final results and just show you how good it works on this Centipede grass. And it works, like I said, on other types of grasses, but particularly on St. Augustine, you use a very low rate. And some of the rates is depending on how hard it is to control, you know, the seed heads popping up, how fast certain types of grasses grow and things like that. But let's show the results on the Centipede and wrap up the video. All right, so the grass has not been mowed in 2 weeks, and you can see there's a number of weeds and things in the lawn, but I want to just show you the difference. This is the part that's been sprayed. We're going to get down and look at it in a closer view, and then you got over here that hasn't been sprayed, and that you can see, you know, what Bahia grass looks like after it's not been sprayed. You know, Bahia puts up a stalk pretty quick, and after 2 weeks it certainly has a stalk. Now, like I said, Bahia grass is one of the notorious seed heads in lawns, at least in my area, and so it's going to take a higher rate to suppress Bahia grass. But look at the Bahia grass over here that's been sprayed, and this one is just now putting out a seed head and is much shorter. So I'm not saying, you know, it took almost 2 weeks for this Bahia grass to start putting out seed heads, which over here, you know, the untreated part, I mean, I would imagine after, you know, 4 or 5 days it probably had already put the seed heads out. See if you can get a better view here of all the Bahia grass right here, big tall stalks that are hard to mow. Now that's the Bahia grass, and like I said, it takes a higher rate. But let's check out the actual Centipede turf. And if you'll look here at this Centipede that was sprayed, to be honest with you, it looks like it has grown almost none. Now I'm trying to make it visual on the video, but very little growth. And if you imagine if I was still mowing, like this has not been mowed in 2 weeks, so when you're mowing it, a lot less clippings, and you can keep it nice and low. I could keep this at 1 inch no problem if I wanted to, where to keep a lawn at 1 inch, and you may not want to keep it 1 inch depending on what kind of grass you have, it would be very difficult unless you're mowing very frequently. So it just helps, you know, whether you want to mow less often or just keep your lawn really tight. So this is the Centipede that has not been treated, and I'm hoping this is coming through on the camera, but you know, it's already putting out a seed head here, and it's, you know, obviously needs mowed. I don't like Centipede grass looking this shaggy, so let's see if I can get down here low. And it does suppress the weeds to some degree. That's that crabgrass, the Bahia, which we've talked about. But you can just see how tall this is. And then as you come over here, you get into what's been sprayed. Significant difference. So a lot of uses for this. I've got a big nasty hillside in my property that's not very much fun, so I could see it being useful in that situation. But I appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you learned something new, maybe got exposed to something you weren't familiar with, or maybe you were familiar with it, but can show you the results on the video. I'm Jason Creel. If you hadn't done so, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of helpful videos on here. Go check out some of the videos by clicking on Lawn Care Life below. You can go check out my website if you're in the lawn business. I have some resources on there, lawncarelife.com. Thanks for watching. Let me hear from you in the comments. Is this something you've done before? Heard of growth regulators, used them, and what applications do you make with them? How are you using them to be successful in your lawn? Talk to you later. Bye.